hit from the 10. Little crease opened up out to the 28-yard line. Make the hand up to Montgomery, go over the season on opening play. Some contact early and a flag on the opening play. We'll see if this is potentially a pass interference. It was Eric McLean on the coverage.
Certainly prior to the pass being thrown, holding defense number 20. 10-yard penalty includes an automatic first down.
Again to Montgomery on the edge this time. Getting up to the 50-yard line. Change as we go. Rotating in. Over the seam. Pass is caught. Inside the 20. Dancing inside the 10. Over pirouette. And into the end zone. Armand Branch. Extra point is up. Now Seth Turner going to kick this one away. Eric Weatherly back to return for Ball State. Find a seam up to the 21-yard line. Good start. Kyle Kelly set to come out for Ball State. He was their QB in 2023. Last season played 6 different positions. Not a ton of QB, just 4 passes thrown. Goes back to quarterback this year. A really interesting story on the Ball State side of things. And Kyle Kelly comes out to guide this Ball State offense for the first time. And 7, the hand off, and quickly the play made in the backfield. Quite actually. This time, Kelly's first pass, aiming at the hands of his intended target.
Hey, I mean, 40 seconds into the game, we got 7 points. I'd say the offense is doing all right so far.
I appreciate it, thank you.
We're hoping to watch this defense force a 3 and out. Looks like that's what they're gonna do. Nice play made out on the edge by Hadori Hines on Ty Robinson.
Explosive offense, 3 and out on defense, and there's a physicality that's being embodied by this team right now. That's exactly what Barry Odom's been hoping for.
Michael Jackson III back to return this punt. Fair catch at the 29. Have Oregon on our air later today. 7-0 start for Purdue. Ryan Brown back out there. Quick throw out on the edge. And this is caught by Branch. We'll fake it. Looking deep again. It's Branch again. One-on-one again. And it is caught again.
I mean, a gorgeous pass from Ryan Brown, but then the presence of mind from Branch, because he ran a beautiful route, left himself room along the sideline, and then the comfort and confidence to reel it in with his right hand.
Didn't see a ton of Branch last year. We did see a lot of Montgomery last year. Lowering his shoulder to the inside of the 10. Play was blown dead before it started. There's a flag down on the near sideline.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's our game referee, Jeff Cervinsky. Again, Ethan Trent with false start. His first start, by the way. Sophomore, younger brother of Tyler Trent. Former walk-on. Worked his way into this position this day. Really excited to make his first start. Hand it off to Maccabi again, running behind the left side of that O-line. Jalen St. John, the left guard, guiding the way that time. Quick throw, screen set up. There's an alleyway looking for the end zone. Cut down at the 5 was Corey Smith on his first grab of the afternoon. Josh Henson, the new OC, coming over from USC. Trojans ranked among the nation's best passing teams over his 3 seasons, and we're seeing Purdue already early on going to the air early and often. 3rd and goal set up here. Got 3 receivers to Brown to right. He's looking that way now, rolling that way. He can use his athleticism too. Gets in the end zone, tiptoeing inside the pylon. Back-to-back possession to the Purdue touchdown.
He's got the game on a string right now through the first 2 offensive series.
Looks very comfortable before the game. Purdue not wasting time getting the party started in the Barry Odom era. 14-0. 2 quick 70-plus yard drives. Now a nice return out to the 31-yard line there. Really neat to see. On the edge, nice play on the perimeter. This defense backing up what the offense is doing early on.
But with Mike Uremovich, and we've been referencing all the newness for Purdue's roster and a lot of the bodies that have come in there. Similar scenario for Ball State. First-year staff, especially on offense. A lot of players who transferred in from elsewhere.
Kelly standing tall in the pocket, tries to use his legs, but he gets closed up quickly. Got 4 receivers to work with here on 3rd and long. Kelly gonna step up, well covered downfield. Things break down around the pocket, and he goes down, which should bring up another Ball State punt. Couple of punts for Ball State. Michael Jackson III will let that one take a Purdue bounce. Back up to the 37. They go to Maccabee on the ground, gets straddled down by the legs. First kind of adversity Purdue has faced so far. 3rd down, first time they had a 3rd and long scenario, and they'll be stopped about 5 yards short of the line to gain. So first time we'll see a Purdue punt. Punt from McAllister. Back to return is Eric Weatherly. He has to dance around and get dragged back inside of the 10. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 12 on forward progress. The news about this Purdue defense, which also has a lot of new players just like the offense, is that they have been stout early along the line, and Kelly has been bottled up. Hines came up to make the play there.
And it's a short gain for the Ball State offense, but that does at least give the Purdue defensive front something else to think about. Getting Kyle Kelly on the move. Now, for Purdue, they have to make sure they're honoring the legs of the quarterback in a different way.
Short gain of 2, a Ball State team that went 3-9 last year. Kind of a deceptive 3-9, a lot of close games in the mix. They brought in Leffler here, QB, to hand off. Another big hit out of the edge. And Kyle Kelly back in at QB for Ball State. Cardinals 0 for 2 on 3rd down, backed up against the student section as well here. Quick dart over the middle, caught by Eric Weatherly, their transfer from Bucknell. He's their speed and space guy, and he picks up just enough for a first down. 23rd straight game with a catch for Eric Weatherly, dating back to his days with Bucknell. See if Kelly can feed up momentum there. He won't be able to. Initially brought down, then dragged down. Alex Sanford came up to make the tackle and finish things off.
Trey Smith's going to want that one back, but you hate that as a defensive end. You've got the quarterback in your clutches and he gets away.
Sets up 2nd and 5, so far more manageable. Good block out on the edge. Another first down game for this Ball State offense. Max Webster, one of their tight ends, gets involved for the first down. The new Purdue defensive coordinator Mike Shear came over with Barry Odom from UNLV. UNLV program that went 11-3 last season. Go up the middle after a gain of 13. They got a TJ Horton at a running back. Go to the ground once again with TJ Horton.
And we think about the newness in schematics and communication more from the offensive perspective, but this is the first time Purdue's defense is going through these things together on the field and with their new defensive coordinator, Mike Shear. So as he's making the calls here, just check as you're watching this. First level, second level, the way hand signals are going, the way they've got to yell things back and forth as they audibleize.
Kelly, confident throw, but into the grass and incomplete. Barry Odom, his head coaching debut for Purdue. Mike Shear played for him, by the way, at Missouri. Played for him, now coaching with him. Adam Saul punting. Fair catch made at the 9-yard line by Michael Jackson III with 47 seconds left. First time Purdue's been backed up like this as well, inside of their own 10. Antonio Harris is in at running back. He'll get his first carry, gets dropped down from behind. Dwindling now. Catch up the backfield, some space here. And there it is, Harris again. Outside and up to the 32-yard line. Brown keeps it. He's a part of the new regime. Left it over top. Target in George Burhan went in and out of his hands. Those are some things you'll work out with timing, but there's also a couple of flags down.
Couple of things working against George Burhan there. Play was a little bit helter-skelter.
Yeah.
But then the sun was in his eyes as well. I know that's a very common excuse, but the sun legitimately was in his eyes as he was trying to catch it.
Ineligible player downfield, offense number 79. That penalty is declined. It is second down.
Because as Burhan reached up, the ball was in flight and he had to extend high to get it. And with the angle of where the sun's coming from right now, look at all the shadows of the players. The 11 bodies of Purdue's offense, the shadows are going in that direction. So that displays where the sun is coming from. When Burhan reaches up to grab it, he's got to reach up and look up into the sunlight. Made it tougher.
Brown has a completion this time to Michael Jackson III. It stops at USC and Georgia before coming over to Purdue.
And as this new coaching staff has been figuring out a lot of these new bodies that they're getting accustomed to, whose strengths and weaknesses fit where within this Josh Henson offense. I've said Michael Jackson has been one of the more consistent playmakers for him.
They bring Jackson in motion right on cue, fake it to him. And the ball is taken right up the middle for a first down. Brown rolls out. He's been pretty active getting out of the pocket, using his legs. Jackson uses his legs over on the sideline, dancing for another Purdue first down. Elite footwork on display. Brown to the air again. Caught once again for a first down. Looks like a gain of 11 over along the sideline.
Loads of off coverage being displayed by the Cardinals on defense right now. Just sort of a death by 1,000 cuts. It tests the consistency, the accuracy from the quarterback.
E.J. Horton on his first grab. Oh, another quick throw over the seam and incomplete, looking for Jesse Watson. Second and 10. Tempo's been pretty quick. Lofty pass, but it was a beautiful one to drop right into the breadbasket of Michael Jackson III. Just floated it up like a rainbow, and it was perfection. And off to Maccabee. Tough guy to bring down, gets to the 10. If you saw the little celly at the end of that too.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the gooseneck, like I'm dropping in a good jumper?
It was.
Floater. It was the 11th first down, by the way, on the gain of 18 prior to the Maccabee run for this Purdue offense. It's Brown and the keeper, a little deceptiveness. Gets to the 5. He's already running in with his legs once.
He had the lane. He tricked himself.
From the 6-yard line.
See if they lean on the interior of that offensive line in this pistol formation.
Yeah, you got Maccabee right behind him. They will give it to Maccabee this time, lunging ahead. See if he has enough.
Officials are ruling him short for right now, so the first big decision of the season for Barry Odom.
Brown liked the choice to keep the offense out there. Here's that peak formation you talked about. Maccabee going to take a direct snap, and Maccabee lunges ahead. Maccabee is in the end zone for another Purdue touchdown. 233 total yards for Purdue. Still 10:21 to go in this opening half. Back out to kick this off. Boy, Ashley awaiting it. Watches it sail over his head. .21 here. Purdue up on Ball State. Barry Odom making his head coaching debut for the Boilermakers. And his team goes down to their first 2 drives, gets points. That forced 3 Ball State punts, over 200 yards of offense. Now defense comes back out. Kelly, mobile QB, slides down. The marking where the slide began. Gotta be a little careful there. Kelly played 6 different positions last year at some point or another in this Ball State offense. Only 4 passes all season, back to QB this year, so here's the legs on display once again on the design run. Just 1 of 4 on 3rd down to this point. Blitz comes up the middle. Kelly rolls out, put it back across his body dangerously. There was a flag down behind the play, kind of in that holding zone. Drew Wakely was the one diving to try to pick that pass off transfer from BYU.
It's number 56. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Adam Saul back to punt. Michael Jackson coming up to return. This could be some good field position here for Purdue. Caught that in stride, but cut down quickly. Came out on that run. Goes out of bounds, so Purdue will keep the possession here. Loss of 1. We thought whoever could maintain control would be key here. No turnovers yet. Maccabee up the middle this time. Just dragging tacklers with him. Offensive coordinator Josh Henson raved about Brown's athleticism. Flush the pocket here, looking back across his body, dangerously towards the sideline, incomplete. Pass was up near the sticks. Will Yates in the coverage. Yeah.
I mean, that was I thought the ball was in jeopardy, and I suppose to some extent it was, but he threw it in a place where his playmaker was the main one with an opportunity at it.
You can very much see the play is nowhere near over when Brown's out of the pocket. He's got such good poise to stay in the pocket, but utilizes his legs to his advantage pretty well. This is a good punt inside of the 5 from McAllister.
First and 10 Ball State.
Ball State trying to get free, get some breathing room. They do just that with Quay Ashley as tacklers around his ankles out to the 18-yard line, gain of 14. That was their longest play of the afternoon. Creeping up on final 6 minutes of this second quarter. Kelly, quick throw out of the backfield. That's what we expected to see today, and it's Ashley once again doing work after the catch. See where they mark forward progress. Quick pitch. Ball State likes to do this out of that formation. Quickly came over, lowered a shoulder, and Horton went flying into the Purdue bench. They will have enough for the first down, move the chains. Ashley was the deceptive player there, and it's the keeper from Kelly. He gets up to the 50-yard line. They'll have enough to move the chains once again, so gain of 12. First drive we've seen collective chunks being put together for Ball State. Once again, this time the biggest gaping hole today for Ball State offensively, and it's Quay Ashley again. Gets inside of the 30. You talked about earlier that conditioning aspect of things when you settle in. Well, now, inside of the final minutes of this opening half, and Ball State starting to back you up a bit.
And I do feel like the communication is beginning to struggle a little bit with Purdue. That's why I point out the clapping aspect of it, because it's happening late. And it's not like Ball State is running tempo right now, but there is a good amount of movement. You got to remember the various teammates who are just doing this together for the first time. A few of the UNLV teammates have been here, done this before, but a lot of the guys are still new to this system.
Kelly, another keeper. This time spins out of a couple of tackles, brought down. There were 0 plays, by the way, over 10+ yards before this drive. Boilermakers lead the all-time series 8-0. All 8 matchups prior today have occurred here at Ross-Ade Stadium. Kelly stepping up, gets out of the pocket. Correa came over to drag him down just inside of the 30 on that 2nd and 10 play. And drops in the backfield. By the way, 4th down here, and Ball State going to go for it on 4th and 16. Kelly trying to keep it alive. Low throw. Looked like he had some options available as the probe broke down, but things were opening up. So, Stanny looks like Hank Purvis sliding into the right guard spot. Drops in the backfield, quick sack right out of the gates there. First time that Brown goes down. Pressure up the middle coming from Nathan Voris. He gets the sack with just under 100 seconds to go in the half.
One of the first things you end up liking to do when you see a new center in the game, just like if there's a new quarterback, when you sense any weakness up the middle on the offense, you want to bring additional force into that area of their protection. That's precisely what the Cardinals did.
Purvis, who slides in right guard, also came over from UNLV, one of 8 UNLV transfers with Barry Odom in his Purdue head coaching debut. But he's trying to pick his way through. Hole closed up again. Ball State now starting to think perhaps, you know, still 109 left. You get a stop here. You got 2 timeouts left. They need a chunk through the air here on 3rd and 19. Pressure comes. Brown flushed. Huckabee, the first man miss. Got up to the 40-yard line, so got a good chunk of it back. They're going to be about 3 yards short. Eric Weatherly back to return this one. Another Purdue hop. Another, no, not quite inside the 5, but down inside the 10.
I would anticipate they'll just hope to pop a run.
That's what they do here. Boy, Ashley on the carry.
In these scenarios, if you can get a good chunk run for the offense, then you can set up some aggression for the coaching staff. But if you're not in that position, there's no reason, especially with as well as Purdue's defensive front has been able to pressure Kyle Kelly. You don't really need to put your quarterback in jeopardy.
Quick flag here.
False start. Offense number 73. Half the distance to the goal. It'll be second down. Because the clock was running and the foul stopped the clock, there's a 10-second runoff. Ball State is not opting to take their timeout. Clock operator, please place the game clock at 11 seconds. It will start on the ready for play signal.
That probably works out just fine for Ball State. I think you have Colt Mosier in there at center. There was a little movement from the D-line, and then Colt Mosier wiggles a bit in his own right. It wasn't big, but Mosier's about 300 pounds. Got big hips. It's hard to miss.
We'll take the runoff, and then the clock winds down in this first half. 21-0 start for Purdue in the start of the Barry Odom era. Seth Turner to kick off. Wayne Ashley will let that sail over his head. Slightly bobbled snap. Kelly that got it away. Short passing game has been the name of the game for the Ball State offense. Kobe Gross makes the catch that time. Manny Powell with a big sack. Kelly looking for the edge on this play. Scoots out of bounds over by the Purdue sideline. State went 1 of 6 on third down in the first half. They need a couple yards here. Looks like Kelly gets just enough. Needed 2, got 3. Barry Odom did not back down from the word pressure to get the program back to where it needs to be. Quick screen pass out to the near side, and it is Magwood seeing the ball go in and out of his hands. One lane closed up quickly there. Looks like Correa who finished off the tackle. 2 of 7 on third down. Purdue brings the heat. Kelly slips away initially. Now uses his acceleration to pick up a first down. Got just enough, 9 yards, and that is the dynamic of Kyle Kelly. You got to get him with that first tackle, and it's hard to do.
And when they go man coverage on the back end, they bring additional heat. You have the backs of the defenders in your face as a quarterback, so that's where Kyle Kelly knows he's got a chance now to open up that run lane. He evades the initial oncoming blitzer. There's one thing that stopped him from maybe going the distance. That was Miles Slusher.
Kelly thought about transferring. Coach Shrimovich visited him and his family in Tampa when he got the job, and they visited him to try to do this. A little trickery. Kept it alive after 2 guys running down, and somehow Kelly picks up another first down.
Right now, the rush and the coverage not tied together very well for the Boilermakers.
Kelly's got 102 all-purpose yards. He only threw the ball 4 times last year when he did line up at quarterback, which was rare. He'll hand it off this time on the ground, and it's Quay Ashley. Gets spun down to Ball State on the move, starting off this second half. Offensively for Ball State, Coach Uremovich calls the plays. He's doing a great job on this possession. Timeout called over on the Ball State sideline.
Solid advice. Let's score some touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, who can argue with that?
Your dad got emotional with us this past week when he was talking about his coaching career beginning here at Purdue. He moved you into classes a couple of weeks ago into your freshman dorm. Any emotions come from your dad during that moment?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So being back here is obviously really emotional for him. Like, this is kind of where he got his start. You know, it's what kickstarted his coaching career.
It's a family affair, right? I mean, how awesome that has to be for the Uremovich family. I was actually, at one point, I was all-state with his brother in Illinois.
Over on to attempt a 44-yard field goal.
He came out the same year, his younger brother, Matt Uremovich.
Small football world. Carson Homer from 45 yards trying to put Ball State on the board. And it is off the upright. No good.
The score, Purdue 21.
Brad still time to throw. Can stand by that offensive line to help him out, keep things alive. Floated a pass that was caught by Michael Jackson. Gonna hand it off. Oh, what a job to slip through that initial tackle from Maccabee. Pressure from behind. Quick pass. Good job to break up the tackle from Jackson. And a second tackle, and he sneaks inside of Ball State territory. Trent can slide over to right guard where he started the game. A little open throw, but in the turf and incomplete. Looking that time for Branch. They looked one way, went the other to Maccabee. Maccabee's got space and speed inside of the 25.
Brown's pass complete to Maccabee. Good for Boilermakers.
Gain of 29 for Maccabee. They bring in Antonio Harris. Well-deserved breather for Maccabee here. They'll fake it to Harris. Brown keeps it. Getting outside of the pocket and inside of the 15 he goes. Maccabee, by the way, the only returner on this offense with 5 or more starts.
And I don't think we can really underscore enough how unique the situation that Ryan Brown's in, because he transferred away in the spring. And when Barry Odom first took the job, they did have a conversation. So when he returned for fall camp, there were other quarterbacks he competed with for this job.
Won the job, and then back to the back of the end zone. Michael Jackson, touchdown catch. Extra point is good from Borat. Didn't really know who we were going to see step up at an unknown wide receiver spot. Denylon Morissette also out today, along with Chauncey Magwood, 2 guys who could be key players and definitely would be on the field today if they were suited up. So now the defense comes back out, trying to consolidate what the offense just did. New look defense for Purdue. 54 players out of the transfer portal on the team as a whole, most in the FBS. 82 new faces overall. Well, you were looking for a motion that was not making clap sounds.
Disconcerting signals. Defense number 16 was clapping. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So the difficulty here So you hear the audible clap from defenders at multiple levels of Purdue's defense. They've been doing it the entire game. The clap wasn't audible during the first half. The new rule in college football this season, the offense, because they use the clap as their cadence to snap the football from the shotgun, college football has decided defenders are no longer allowed to clap. Historically, we have been because we have to communicate as well.
Boy, Ashley gets brought down and continue that point. That is out of fairness to the offense. Kelly trying to squeak out of a crevice of traffic on second and short. Purdue shows the pressure. They try to run it. Bouncing off of tackles is actually going to be interesting where they spot the forward progress here. This kind of kept going. It looks like they're going to spot it after getting the first down.
It's either going to be a 4-yard loss or a 5-yard gain. Can't really tell which one it is.
Kelly feels the pressure, can't get out of it this time. This will go down as a sack. New defensive coordinator Mike Shear's defense. Under 2 minutes to play in the third. Fill it up and bottle up. Really good tackle made in space there. Kelly dragged down once again. There's a flag that went out before the punt. Then the punter was hit, and then more flags come out after contact with Saul.
Ball marked down at the 28-yard line. Penalty markers on the play.
There are 2 fouls on the plays, one against each team. They're going to offset, and we will play the down. Illegal formation, kicking team, 1 to 4 in the back, 5 in the backfield. Running into the kicker, return team, goes offset, replay 4th down.
Jackson comes up for this one, takes a bump. Pretty courageous return. They want the highlight reel again here. Down and incomplete. Looking for E.J. Horton.
Bounce pass is incomplete.
So, the reason you hear a few boo birds at Ross-Ade Stadium, not because the pass came up a little bit short. They're kind of upset at the back judge, I think, because there might have been an opportunity for their receiver to just continue and break off the angle of that post route a little bit more to have a shot at making that play.
Bring Maccabee in motion. Empty backfield again, though. Quick throw. It was a nice throw. Zipped over the middle. Couple of nifty moves as well. Up to the 48-yard line. Brown pumps a couple of times. He got all day to throw. Into coverage and broken up. Another opportunity for Maccabee, lowering the shoulder.
Maccabee
Just up near the line to gain. Doing it on the stage of Barry Odom's debut as the head coach for Purdue. And a bounce back from the 1-win season, just a few years removed from playing in the Big Ten championship game. Entirely new roster, new regime. Pass caught by E.J. Horton, finding a tunnel. There's another target. And once again, you're without Denylon Morris set today and Chauncey Magwood. Good protection again. Hit as he threw, nearly tipped off the hands of Tuggle. Brown had a great game against Illinois last year. Game he played the most in the Purdue uniform a season ago. Making the start today. He was named to start on August 22nd. and he made a great block. Led to a throw over the middle. Horton on the crossing route.
Yes, he might be a future engineer, but you see that knowledge come out in learning the offense.
Just engineered another block there. Brown strung out on the edge, though, this time. I'll mark him at the 12-yard line. Pressure up the middle. The elusiveness from Brown. Keeping the play alive. The end zone incomplete. But he just kept it alive to a point where he actually threw a receiver open.
Ryan Brown extending that play, gave his guy a chance in the back of the end zone, just through the hands of Watson.
Pressure picked up again. Oh, little shimmy shake there from Brown. Then goes down at the 10. Aiden Johnson makes the tackle. Now looks like special teams unit will come on. Spencer Porath to attempt the field goal here.
It's the better part of valor right there for Ryan Brown. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Missed opportunity on the previous play. No need to make a bad play worse.
Josh Henson talked about sometimes you just take second and 10, sometimes in this case you just take the field goal. Kelly steps up, lost that into the grass.
Kelly's pass is incomplete.
Here's Kelly looking for a block on the outside. Purdue has secured the edge pretty well. This will bring up a 3rd and short situation. And looks like they may have come up with a 3rd and short stop. They did, at least a yard and a half short. That pursuit to the football has been really promising for Purdue today.
It was a really unselfish effort by Manny Powell, the way he bent that block, the oncoming lead blocker. So he hammers that back in with his shoulder, and his teammate, Charles Correa, will come in and clean things up.
And Correa both from UNLV, so you see their communication because they knew this defense with defensive coordinator Mike Shear, who also came from UNLV with Barry Odom. All one collective minds. They've been able to teach everyone else, and now on 4th and 2, Ball State going for it. Looking to run it, found a crease in the crevice. It's a big play. Down the sideline into the 30-yard line goes Elijah Jackson, the former Purdue running back. Flip it out here, back to Jackson again. And hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Jackson.
Got a flag down before the Taj Rael tackle.
Face mask, defense number 21. 15-yard penalties enforced from the previous spot. Includes an automatic down.
Kelly steps up, pocket collapses right on top of him. Looks like Braylon Charles on the interior. Knocked on the door a couple of times. Design keeper for Kelly.
You have to be able to have 6 seconds of all-out effort every single play. If you can do that, you've got a great chance to outwork your opponents. That's the same principle that Barry Odom coaches by now.
Pressure comes, quick throw. Ty Robinson on the catch. But brought down short. 29-yard field goal attempt from Carson Holmer. And the potential shutout bid continues because that's the second time Ball State has missed a field goal attempt. So Purdue comes out here with Malachi Singleton at QB, and he completes his first pass. Corey Smith on the receiving end. very much in that mix. And now the handoff here to Antonio Harris. Another pass incomplete that time.
Running into the kicker.
I could not. In
Return
the
team
entire
number 14, that's a
time,
5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
Malachi Thomas in now at running back.
It's a much more difficult reclamation project than what he inherits right now at Purdue.
So true. Singleton trying to keep it this time. That was the first 11-win season in 40 years at UNLV. Their first bowl win since 2000. First of 3 straight at home to begin the season. Have Southern Illinois, Salukis, and then USC after that in their Big Ten opener. And that is caught along the near side as this wide variety of wide receivers continues to get involved. Getting the carry is Singleton, who has taken over for Brown these last couple of possessions. Showcasing his speed as well.
Well, one of the things that I listed as a key to the game was to show your culture. And I really think that showed up today. It's not easy to look as connected and efficient as Purdue did today.
This is the upcoming schedule, sponsored by Wendy's. As I mentioned there, that 3-game homestand to begin the season. Southern Illinois and then USC in their Big Ten opener. Back-to-back ranked opponents, Notre Dame and Illinois after that. Right now, though, can celebrate win number 1 of the Barry Odom era. Getting things started off the right way in West Lafayette. 31-0 shutout win over Ball State.